will start from the very beginning, from the source, from your code. You write the test, you describe some actions in your tests, and tests are being executed by the test framework. Then your tests fail. The test framework generates something like this. It says 11 tests, 2 failures, 81% of success. Cool. Now you need to understand what happened inside your test. You go inside and you can see what is the reason, what caused the failure, and then comes a person which is not familiar with the coding, which is not familiar with the tests in general, and actually they do not care about the tests, they do not care about the coding, they just need some results, some overview of the status of the state of the testing of the product whatsoever, and they ask the questions. And when they look into your logs like this, the question will be, so what? Which means you will have a lot of fun by explaining what happened inside your code, what caused the failure, and what are the actions that you need to perform to fix it. That will be a relatively quick task for 10 tests and 2 failures, but for 1,000 tests and 200 failures, that will be a full-time job. So you will understand where I'm going, right? So you need some way to explain people what is happening inside your tests and explain where the failure happened, and thus provide the information to your team about the state of your tests, about the status of testing of your product, something like that. So when we execute our test in a pipeline, like we're doing right now, by using the annotations that you provide in the code using Allure framework capabilities, you will be able to provide more information, more clarity on the status of your tests like this. So you using annotations, and annotations inject this meta information. So for example, that this particular test is related to microservice billing, this particular test is related to a feature called issues, and the story that we trying to check is creating a new issue somewhere, doesn't matter at the moment. So when we execute such tests, we can see that currently the pipeline is still running. There are some tests being executed. The Allure report is being created, and it's already created. And we go and see into Allure report what's happening inside. An Allure report provides you more clarity on this, because from the very start, when you open the report, you can see that all the failures currently are related to a feature issue. And if you want to understand deeper and dig deeper to understand what caused the failure, you go inside and you can see what are the tests with the failures. And as we provided the information about the steps, so you can see there are some steps created here, and the steps provide information about the failure. So you can see that we opened issue page, and on this very page some bad thing has happened. And from very start, by opening the report, we can see that some element is not found, and this caused the failure of the test. So basically here we can understand and we can say for sure that the test didn't find the class something on the page, and this was the failure. So people using your Allure report will be able to understand what's happened, what caused the failure, and thus you will save a lot of time avoiding all the explanations. The downside of report tool is that you can use it for automated tests only, first of all, and the second, you need to provide the access to your pipelines for the people that are not related to the pipelines, which means that you need to manage the access, you need to manage the right access, and you need to remember about it, that it is part-time job, but nevertheless you need to spend some resources, some time by giving the access, removing the access, and managing the access to this. The third part, the downside of Allure report, is that it's limited by this particular test run. You cannot collect the information using this report tool from all the pipelines and then gather some information about the status of the product in general. And there is no way to store all the data centrally. Some people tried to collect all the information from the pipelines, store it centrally, and build some tools that will process the test results. And we saw such examples. And the workload for such tool was around several thousand of man working hours. So you need to understand that you need to build some processing, you need to design the database, and you need some very experienced people that will develop this. Now, having this report, let's jump to Allure TestOps. And also, the report tool is limited. It doesn't provide you the information in real time. So in order to build the report, you need to wait until your pipeline has finished, all the tests finished, all the test results are generated, and only after that, Allure report and any other report tool will be generated in many cases. So if we go inside Allure TestOps, we'll see that there is information from our pipeline delivered to Allure TestOps. We provided some additional information like tags, so it's demo, it's related to a release, and this data will be deleted. And also we gathered information about the environment. So we use branch demo, we use browser Chrome, and the host on which we are running tests, it is I will always love you. So if we go inside and open the failed tests, for example, like this, so we can see that the report tool here looks quite familiar, right? So the same information that we received from the pipeline, we can see here. The same information about the steps, the same information about the failure that was causing the failed tests. So we can see all the information from our test result with all error messages and additional data that we provided in our tests. Now, let's run this test again and go back to Allure TestOps just to see how the information is being provided to Allure TestOps from CI system. Let's go inside. We started the build job, and you can see from the very start, from the very beginning, there is information about the job run. So it is Jenkins system run 168, and all the information related to the environment and additional information from the text is already delivered from the very start. And you can see the test results arrived in real time, and what we can do in addition to this information again. So we can analyze, first look, we try to understand what happened inside. We can see that there is some error related to WebDriver, which means it's probably caused by some infrastructure problem, probably just a hiccup, and let's try to fix it. Let's try to just restart the test case. There is an option to rerun. If we want to pass this test manually, we can use force manual, but my aim is right now to just restart the test and see what happened inside it, and probably the test will just become green because the hiccup just went away. I don't know, let's try. So if we go back, we can see that this launch is created as we asked it. And in console output, we can see that it was test plan with just one test created, which means we requested the test framework to run only one test, and you can see only one test was executed. So this is done using by the integration with Jenkins, using our Jenkins Allure TestOps plugin for the integration. And this integration also made on the level of the test framework, which allows you selectively run the tests. So we had 9 tests in our pipeline, and instead of running all 9 tests again, we just executed one test, which is 9 times faster for us. And we received the information from the pipeline that our test actually is now green test. It's not red one, but it executed, and the information from the pipeline that we received says that all the tests in current pipeline are green. So we're able to understand from the very beginning, from going to the test result, we were able to understand that there's some error related to the infrastructure, and we're able to check it, recheck it, and we executed this test, only one test, and we have absolutely green test run at the moment. If we go to overview section, we'll be able to see that this test was retried. So it initially was red, and now it's successfully passed, and we have this all information about it. And from the very start, we can see that some of the tests related to the microservices probably were red, but now they're all green, and everything is good in our pipeline.